Hello and welcome to APM Seasons. In this video I will be explaining how our seasons work with the sun and the gates. You will be seeing a lot of information on screen, so I'll use this screenshot to help break down what you are looking at. On the left you can see the waveform tracker. This basically tracks the changes across the seasons. We will get into that in a few moments. On the bottom left in green text is information from the creation calendar synced with the seasonal switching. When you see the red chevrons, some extra information is displayed in red above and beside it. At the bottom center is the astrology tracker. This tracks the zodiac information and a few other things. On the bottom right is the sun gate tracker, which I made to help me decode the gate's correct sequences and track the sun by degrees to help identify the gate switching from Auckland, New Zealand and their perspective bubble. So without further ado, we will continue. We are starting from the March equinox, gate 4R on the map. Each crossing and return of the sun represents 30 days or 1 month, 360 days total over the course of a year. We did add a 24-hour sun. For now I placed it in the path coming up from gate 6F. Boots on the ground needed from the northeastern latitudes to determine where it comes from and heads back towards the east gates. You will be seeing information relating to the sun's return path above the waveform tracker and the object crossing the map from west to east after sunset. We believe these are our luminaries returning back to the east, as we have decoded previously. I do think the sun uses a sinusoidal orbit, but we added them all near orbit also, as there is more than just the sun returning east, and we will be trying to identify them by their set times. You may think those waveforms just depict day and night, but you would be wrong. They physically exist and we have recorded them on the mimic maps. You can see them if you look carefully in the overlays on the top left. You will also see them change with the seasons in the waveform tracker. There are also members in our group recording the ISS passing, so we can try and get a better look at it. We do expect it to vanish completely before your eyes, as we have shown before with the mimic map findings. There is more than one signal moving around the map, and when they overlap they seem to occlude the light and it reappears elsewhere. This may also be what is creating our lunar eclipse, as the waveforms overlap. Remember, there is more than one luminary moving around up there, and all will have their own unique waveforms. As we have shown in our Power and Glory video, that light in the sky is Isis, Ra's mother, rejuvenating the sun, which actually decodes as a recharging process. Solar rejuvenation, as worded in the 12 Gates presentation. In Christianity, that light in the sky is known as Mary, the star of the sea. How did we forget all this? The information in the Sun Gate tracker was obtained from time and date by P900 Coolpix Sandra. She picked a random year, which in this case was 2006. We recorded the information for sunrise, sunset, total sun hours and the compass degrees to the sunrise as viewed from Auckland, New Zealand. We chose the 25th of each month to make sure the gates had switched, and this helped show me where they would be seeing the sunrise from and help pinpoint the direction to match which gate was in use. I called the rear gates long days and the forward gates short days, as in their groups of 4. This is how it works, lengthening and shortening the days as the sun cycles around the 12 gates. The 25th of March is also the first day of the new year in the Persian and Indian calendars, as an aside. Do notice also how accurate the compass is in catching the gate switches with the sun gate tracker. We do think the sun travels above and below the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, and this is going to require boots on the ground if anyone at those latitudes can help identify if the sun is travelling north or south of those tropics. For full exploration, obviously we would recommend going east, as the eastern gates are closer, it is much warmer, and you should be thinking of where our luminaries are actually coming from, as this cannot be hidden. The first thing I did notice with this is our Zodiac is directly linked to the switching of the gates, as you can see in this animation. The gemstones connected to birth signs may actually be created by our sun as it passes over the locales where these gems are found. More work needed there, but as we have shown in a previous video, our star halos are responsible for depositing elements. We see the dispersal as shooting stars and such, but more on that later. In the animation, the sun is finishing its yearly cycle in February from gate 3F and will cross over to March for the new year in gate 4R. The creation calendar works perfectly and now has the gates in the correct sequence, which is 4R, 5R, 6R, 6F, 5F, 4F, 3R, 2R, 1R, 1F, 2F, 3F and back to gate 4R. A little bit more information on the long and short days. Due to the difference in distance between the gates at their front and rear in their groups of 4, these are what are responsible for people assuming the luminaries are travelling faster at certain times of the year. In reality, the sun has just shorter or longer distances to travel west, depending if it is coming from a front gate or a rear gate. Obviously it will have a few thousand miles less to travel if coming from a front gate, and longer to travel from the rear gates in their 4 group sets. There is something else I have to show you. More surprises, isn't there always with this research? Gates 4R, 5R, 6R, 6F, 5F, 4F, 3R, 2R, 1R, 1F, 2F, 3F and 4R. If I were to stand at the equator facing east and take a photo on the 25th of each month, I would capture this image. This, ladies and gentlemen, is our sun's true Analemma orbit as dictated by our Zodiac and the 12 gates. We are instantly reminded from various cultures, such as the Egyptians, that our luminaries are birthed from between the thighs of the goddess Nut. Do you see this, people? Isn't that amazing? Everything is being placed back into its original context and making more sense. I have added our zodiac signs over these locations. As far as we're concerned, everything still needs decoded and broken down into its correct context. Everything. I guess the question now is, who is going to be the first person to record our sun's true Analemma? Good luck, people, and I hope this presentation makes sense to you and helps with your own research.